my name's Kath and I'm the Creative Director for Conservation Without Borders. This is my boss Sacha and she is the CEO of Conservation Without Borders, otherwise known as the UN Ambassador for the Convention on Migratory Species, or more dramatically, the human swan, which she was named after she flew from Russia back to the UK, tracking the migration of Buick swans. Next up was the Round Britain Climate Challenge, with Sacha flying around the UK to highlight climate solutions. But days before the end of that expedition, in a freak accident, she fell 150 feet. And while she broke a lot of bones from her jaw down, she somehow survived. Despite many operations to put her back together and 6 months in hospital, she was determined not to let injuries deter her from our mission. So against the odds, in 2022, she set off with a team to follow the osprey migration from the UK to Africa, living out of vehicles and tents. She set off in a wheelchair and came back walking. And with amazing results and stories to share. In this vlog, we will share some of those stories and take you behind the scenes of life of Conservation Without Borders.
It's been a pretty spectacular afternoon watching them.
As we go, and the incredible people we meet along the way. While Sacha provides updates on our mission, her recovery, and showcases life on the road, I have spent most of my time in Zambia trying to work with 5 cats and wildlife that also doesn't see borders. Also, hopefully I'll be able to showcase some of Africa's incredible places and people. In this vlog, we see Sacha finish her time in Seattle, where she's testing her new legs in the wild and outside the comfort of a controlled environment. But will a trip to Denmark derail her progress?
So it's our last morning in Gig Harbour. I've woken up to a beautiful morning, and more impressively, have a look at that mountain range behind.
Just before Sacha headed out into the forest, we caught up with Janelle, who generously hosted them for free during their last week attending the Hanger Clinic.
Can I quickly ask, what made you offer to let us stay? That was super and so much more important than you can probably imagine.
Well, I'm an emergency physician, and so I take care of people in their acute injury phase. And I found this place as a refuge for basically just relaxing myself after working hard. And hearing Sacha's story, I just immediately knew that she needed to come back and sleep in a bed rather than in a camper van to go through all of her therapy. And it was just a gut feeling that I had that she needed to come stay. So I'm always amazed at the people that I meet here. That's been one of the amazing things about having a short stay, is that I've really enjoyed meeting the people. And the people that end up coming are ones that are like-minded and need to heal in different ways. So it's been wonderful offering this place for you to heal.
This is a walking trail, very northwest of the United States, out to Cape Flattery. I think there's a lighthouse there. There might be otters, but it's one of the sites where the local people used to go basically to find a high point, a headland, to look for whales and the fish, basically, for hunting. Incredible views. And might be my biggest hike yet. The natural feature around here is something called the Tree of Life. It's this large tree that was right on the coastline, but the seas have eroded the soil underneath it. So it is now kind of suspended in a gap, with hanging on though to the ridge on either side with its roots. And it does look pretty impressive. And once we got here and I looked out over the seas, I was like, I can't not go and see it now. So I did the walk down to the beach and then back up again, and it was just very steep with stairs again. Maybe that was what did me in, but I've woken up with, I guess, all the right muscles in pain. My back, my knees, all the muscles around my knees, not kind of joint pain, which is great. And yeah, my back, my butt, my quads, yeah, everything aches this morning, but it's a good ache. And I guess all that ache is muscle building. Anyway, time to make a cup of tea and stop feeling sorry for myself.
Well, that didn't go quite to plan. After a couple of hectic weeks in Seattle, trying to get Sacha settled in with her new exosyms, we had to fly to Denmark real quick and for some family matters. And Sacha was feeling a bit sick when we arrived, and we thought it was just a flu and exhaustion from the long travel, but after a couple of days and I was examining her, it turned out she had an infection in her leg, and after trying to call the doctor and ask for advice, I ended up calling an ambulance for her. And good thing I did, because it turned out that her infection levels in her blood was really high, and she ended up in ICU for a week. I was completely knocked out by exhaustion and infection. And the reason we know it was really, really bad was that she refused to look at her laptop for almost a whole week, which never happens. Luckily, they were taking real good care of her in the hospital, and their antibiotics, they gave her some really strong doses in the beginning, and it worked pretty quickly, I would say, and she was starting to turn around, and meant that as soon as we got out after about a week, he was back on the road and had to hurry back to the UK actually to go to Cornwall for the upcoming film and speaking tour.
So today's been a bit of a slow day because we have had the BBC here, and I thought I'd just introduce you. Johnny and Nigel, can you tell us why you're here and what you've been up to?
We're from BBC South West, so that covers Devon and Dorset, part of Dorset, sorry, Somerset, and of course Cornwall, where we are today. And we've come to find out all about your fantastic story and of course your film and your adventures, because we like that sort of stuff, don't we? And it's been very lovely talking to you and finding out how exciting a time you've had, and all about those lovely swans, of course.
And Nigel, has it been easy filming here? It was a beautiful location, but...
It's very nice, but been a little bit misty at times. So we've had to wait to get a gap in the clouds so that we can get St Michael's Mount in the background.
So just to be very clear, what we've got there, that is St Michael's Mount.
No, it was there. It's not there anymore. It's definitely gone. It's a disappearing island. It's not actually there at the moment. Honestly, it is here.
Everybody says the mount is a bit magical, but I didn't think it was that magical.
The haunting cry of the Buick Swan is rapidly disappearing.
This is Russian Arctic tundra, and flying in the airwaves is extreme sportswoman and conservationist Sacha Dench, who's investigating why 25% of the swans don't make the full migration. Today, Sacha is in Cornwall on tour, talking about her adventure. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Great view. And I'm lucky enough to meet up with her.
If I could actually fly the journey with them, I could not only see the world through their eyes, I try and understand some of the threats, I could see the places they go to, but also speak to people in those remote areas. Maybe they had the answers that we were missing.
She bravely used a paramotor to follow the swan's route.
The really amazing thing is that no matter where you land, as soon as you take your helmet off, particularly being a female, you don't get people being angry at you. What you get is people saying, "Oh my gosh, where have you come from? Isn't it dangerous? And how can I help?" And that was the perfect opener for getting people engaging with us on how to help save the swans.
The documentary is doing the film festival rounds at the moment, and the International Fund for Animal Welfare has recognised Sacha's work and has given her an award for services to wildlife.
What we managed to do was raise the profile of the issues, bring people in that had no idea they were affecting the swans, like the fish farmers who were draining the pools the swans need on migration, like areas where power lines needed to have deflectors put on them or they needed to be buried because they were killing thousands of swans. We raised their profile and said to people, actually, this is important, globally important for a really critical species. Actually, when you add up all the action of all those individual people and groups, it can make a massive difference. It can save a species.
Incredible work has been undertaken, and there are signs that the Buick swan numbers are stabilising. Momentum is growing.
Sacha says she's happy to be back in the county as she and her film pilot use Devon and Cornwall for trials for the adventure. Her Cornwall speaking tour called Flight of the Swans runs over the next 4 weeks. Johnny Rutherford, BBC Spotlight, Marazion.
And the only reason that we are here and the BBC Spotlight are here is because a lovely lady called Anna has organised this whole speaking tour, including, which started with a request that I talk at Constantine. And I said, well, that'd be great, but I can't really justify coming down for one talk. And so a couple of weeks later, we have 11 venues. And Anna, thank you so much.
Oh, pleasure. It's been fantastic. It's been an overwhelming response of positivity, excitement, just a huge buzz of this magical adventure that Sacha undertook.
I was really, really nervous before the Constantine talk because it was to a family audience. There was going to be lots of young people there, and we're talking, I don't know, everything from maybe 5 years old. How old was the youngest there? Which is not my usual audience, but how did it go?
It was a huge hit. The kids have not stopped talking about it ever since. The engagement was absolutely fantastic.
What I wanted to know was, did they stay awake during the film? An hour of concentration for young people seems like it might be a bit much.
From what I heard from a lot of the other parents, the kids were awake for hours afterwards, chatting about swans and migratory species.
And then the second talk we did, there was an outburst of happy birthday to me, which I was very surprised by, from a group of strangers to me and strangers who didn't know each other. I thought maybe that's just a normal kind of Cornish welcome if I happen to be speaking on my birthday.
Sacha's stories before. I listened to the radio programme about the ospreys, and that's what brought me to listen to this talk. I'm always really interested in women in adventure. Some of my biggest heroes are people like Christina Dodwell and Derby Murphy. So someone like Sacha, who I can actually come and meet, is just amazing for me.
England Dynamo, she definitely is a superhero, and of course I've been reading online about the accident she's had with her legs as well, and I just think what a wonderful spirit she has, and what a leader, and able to educate so many young people about conservation matters. So keep going, Sacha.
I've just had a fantastic film showing and Q&A at the Fish Factory, and as we arrived, the walls had been completely covered in fantastic bird art, and I thought I'd share a bit with you.
Well, this event, I decided why not get out some of my bird collages. And I especially wanted to show this wall because we have this swan piece.
Incredible sort of perseverance to go out there and find out what's going wrong, and that journey was just incredible. So yeah, very good indeed.
God, it's so inspiring listening to her talk about how one person can make a big impact, talking to lots of different people who are on the ground in different countries. And what did you find exciting?
I like a person that can pretty much just find birds and see how their migration goes through the world and how it works.
One of my team said to me just now that the perfect thing is that Sacha didn't have a plan. There was no great plan, there was just a passion, and the passion drove the action, and then a plan came to be, and so it was. And she said, that makes me so hopeful that maybe I can make a contribution. And I think Sacha is not only a wonderful and very brave human being, but she's also a very good human in the sense that she's just normally wonderful. And many, many people out there who might hear me talking, telling you how ordinarily wonderful she is, might then feel that they can channel their own ordinary wonderfulness and use Sacha as being a bit of an icon.
Clearly quite bonkers to go up in a craft like that, but an inspiring woman to have come up with the idea, gone through it. I saw Buick Swans at Slimbridge when I was a little girl. I remember going to see there, and it's tragic to think that there are so few now.
Inspires me, more importantly, to do much, much more. And it's people like Sacha that we need far more of in the world.
Yeah, that was just like super inspired by the film. Particularly loved the crossing borders aspect of it, which I think is like super important for the climate change issue, particularly having to collaborate across borders, climate change, not knowing borders, all of these things, and it's just a really beautiful, inspiring story.
So we have just arrived at the Jackson Foundation, the second last of our Cornish tour. This will be a bit of a different one because Kurt Jackson himself is going to be doing the Q&A, and it's quite a long one and I have no idea what questions he's going to ask.
How I met Sacha was actually at a festival last summer. I went to Warringland with my family and a group of friends, and a really good friend called Karen, who's a nurse, said to me, Anna, there's this incredible woman here. I nursed her in hospital. She's called the Human Swan. She fell out of the sky 150 feet and she broke every bone from her jaw down, and I nursed her in Bristol Hospital, where I used to live. Anyway, and she said she's doing a talk, come now, it's in 5 minutes, and we rushed along through these fields. I had no idea what to expect, and seriously, I was absolutely blown away. It was just the highlight of my summer, and I have not stopped talking about it ever since.
You have to know more about it. It's very important that we keep in with this so we can teach our younger generation too.
Just experienced the flight of the Swan. Yeah, unbelievable. Just emotional, incredible fantastic journey, very educating.
It's the final day of your little baby. How does that make you feel?
Oh, I'm really delighted how well it's been received. Obviously it was going to be incredible, but yeah, it's so nice to see so many people's hearts so genuinely touched and moved and inspired, and it's a really nice feeling. I feel like this has got to keep going, and you know, people need to see it.
Okay.
Definitely in this
First
crazy
Cornwall
time
and then the
we're
world.
in. Why not?
So that concludes the Cornwall speaking tour. The film and Q&A were described as empowering, inspirational and a message of hope. If you would like to book Sacha to do a speech, then please do have a look at the email address in the description below. Don't forget to click like and subscribe so you can keep in touch with everything that we've got going on. Our next vlog will be focusing on vultures, as well as we follow Sacha as she gets on her bike ahead of an epic bike journey to Spain. Not only will she be testing her new legs and building her muscles, where she'll be attending a film showing where rumour has it we may have won an award.